What's going on, guys? I'm Zach.
I'm Sam.
Welcome to Bros React on
151.
You know the deal, guys. Scout Station in the building. It is what it is, so is it? Welcome, guys. This is a video about the amazing Karen Carpenter. Well, it's not a video, it's about getting to know Karen Carpenter. So we're going to go on Wikipedia and we're going to find, about her life.
Insight.
Yeah, about an insight of her life.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because we did react to a few of their videos, do you know what I mean?
And we didn't do the work.
Yeah, so this is just a video about getting to know Karen Carpenter. So let's check up on Wikipedia, guys, and see how, Karen Carpenter was like when she was growing up and things like that. Do you know what I mean? So
let's go.
Let's go. So full name is Karen Ann Carpenter. Was born on March the 2nd, 1950.
Wow.
Passed away February the 4th, 1983, excuse me. Wow. Mad that lad, innit? Short life lad, innit?
So sad.
Was an American singer and drummer who, along with her older brother Richard, was part of the duo The Carpenters. We all know there was a brother and sister.
That band was amazing, what they had.
There was a band together. Yeah. It's amazing that lad, innit? Brothers and sisters making a band together and really taking it to the next level.
Yeah.
It's a great lad. So she was praised for a 3-octave contralto vocal range. Her drumming ability were viewed positively by other musicians and critics. Wow. Her struggles with eating disorder would later raise awareness of anorexia and body
dysmorphia. I can't even pronounce it.
That's so sad. Do you know, what she really went through, mate?
And loads of people in the world goes through that, and obviously it's alright us saying it through camera, but we don't know what people's going through, you know what I mean?
You don't know lad, until you really go through it.
So if you are going through that, I hope you seek help and stuff.
Yeah, I hope you get better, kid. Do you know what I mean? It's really a sad, and a struggle thing that, people go through. Carpenter was born in New Haven, Connecticut, and moved to Downey, California in 1963 with her family. She began to study the drums in high school and joined the Long Beach State Choir after graduating. After several years of touring and recording, the Carpenters were signed to A&M Records in 1969, achieving commercial and critical success throughout the 1970s. Initially, Carpenter was the band's full-time drummer, but gradually took the role of frontwoman the late 1970s. So she was the proper drummer first. She went the front.
No wonder people were saying that,
Yeah. So she later on invented into being the front vocalist, the lead singer. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Wow.
We didn't even know that.
Nah, I wouldn't even know.
That as well.
I wouldn't even know. Do you know what I mean? I just thought she was just always the front singer, the main
vocalist.
Yeah. So you learn something every day. See, if you don't really search about the artist, you don't really know the history about how they started and what led them to become where they are. Do you know what I mean?
So successful.
Wow, the lead singer. So where are we now?
She began to study drums in high school and joined the Long Beach State Choir. That one.
Oh yeah, the choir. No, we're on what is it called?
7 years.
Initially, she was, where are we? Critics.
Usually,
full-time drummer, but gradually took the role of frontwoman. Drumming was reduced to a handful of live showcases of tracks on albums. While the Carpenters were on hiatus in the late 1970s, she recorded a solo album, which was released years after her death. Wow. So she recorded the album, but was released years later after her death.
Wow.
So she didn't have that
chance. She didn't see that success.
she didn't have that chance to like see everything in it. Do you know what I mean? Maybe because she was so busy to release it herself at that time because she was with the band, you know, like with the Carpenters, do you know what I mean? And she didn't get that chance. It's so sad, mate. Briefly married in the early 1980s, Carpenter suffered from anorexia nervosa, which was little known at the time. Her death from heart failure at the age of 32. Oh my days, that's so young. I'm 31, mate.
Yeah.
And she passed a year later.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean? Your life just really begins in your 30s, mate, like properly. Do you know what I mean?
That's what they're saying, dirty 30s.
Related to complications of her illness led to increased visibility and awareness of eating disorders. Her work continues to attract praise, including being listed among Rolling Stone's 100 greatest singers of all time. Wow, go down, lad.
But how come he always says Rolling Stone? Is that a magazine or what is it? How come he always says...
Yeah, it might be like the Rolling Stones of the magazine or like their own, do you know, like
get it.
Hall of Fame thing.
Yeah,
do you know
because it always says Rolling Stones as well.
Yeah, so it's one of them, lad.
One in California.
So, okay, we're going to the early life. Karen Ann Carpenter was born, well, we know, March the 2nd, 1950, at Grace New Haven Hospital in New Haven, Connecticut. The daughter of
Rue.
Nee Tatum, March 5th, 1915, November the 10th, 1996. And Harold Bertram Carpenter, November the 8th, 1908. Ooh. Wow.
Do you know how that feels?
October the 15th, 1988. Harold was born in Wuzhou, China. China? Wow. Where his parents were missionaries. He was educated at boarding school in England. Whoa. He was educated in England?
Yeah.
Wow. Before finding work in the printing business. Carpenter's only sibling, Richard the Elder, by the 3 years, developed an interest in music at the early age, becoming a piano prodigy. Karen's first words were bye-bye and stop it. Wow. The letter spoken in response to Richard. She enjoyed dancing and by the age 4 was enrolled in tap dancing and ballet classes. So she was so talented in dancing and everything. Do you know what I mean? Wow.
At a young age.
The family moved in June 1963 in the Los Angeles suburb of Downey. After Harold was offered a job there by a former business associate, Carpenter's entered Downey High School in 1964 at the age of 14 and was a year younger than her classmates. She joined the school band initially to avoid gym classes. Bruce Gifford, the conductor who had previously taught her older brother, gave her the glockenspiel, an instrument she disliked. And after admiring the performance of her friend and classmate drummer Frankie Chavez, who had been playing from an early age and idolising jazz drummer Buddy Rich, she asked if she could play those instead. Carpenter wanted the Ludwig drum set because it was used by her favourite drummer Joe Morello and Ringo Starr. Wow, so they was her favourite. She looked up to. Chavez persuaded her family to buy her a $300, the equivalent of $2,500 in 2019.
Wow, that much cost now.
Wow, the Ludwig kit, and he began to teach her how to play. Her enthusiasm for drumming led to teaching herself how to play complicated lines and studying the difference between traditional and matched grip. Within a year, she could play in complex time signatures such as the such as the 5/4 in Dave Brubeck's Take 5. Carpenter was initially nervous about performing in public, but said she was too involved in the music to worry about it. She graduated from Downey High School in the spring of 1967, receiving the John Philip Sousa Band Award, and enrolled as music major at Long Beach State, where she performed in the college choir, where Richard, the choir's director, Frank Pooler, said that Karen had a good voice that was particularly suited to pop, and gave her lessons in order for her to develop 3-octave range. Wow. Shout out to him, lad, Frank Pooler. You know, go down. This is a picture of Carpenter drumming on stage, early 1970s. Wow, that's how beautiful she looked, mate. So this is a career. Carpenter's first band was 2+2, an all-girl trio formed with friends from Downey High. They split up after she suggested that her brother Richard join the group. In 1965, Karen, Richard and his college friend Wes Jacob, a bassist and tuba player, formed the Richard Carpenter Trio. The band rehearsed daily, played jazz in nightclubs, and also appeared on the TV talent show You All American College Show. Richard was immediately impressed with his sister's musical talent, saying that she would speedily maneuver the sticks as if on some numbers. As if she had been born in the drum factory. She did not sing at this point. Instead, singer Margaret Shannon guested on some numbers. The trio signed a contract with RCA Records and recorded 2 instrumental, but they were not released.
Wow.
Instrumentals. So they recorded 2 instrumentals, but they weren't released.
For some reason.
Don't know why. In April 1966, the Carpenters were invited to audition at a session with bassist Joe Osborne, well known for being part of a studio musician collective, the Wrecking Crew. Though she initially expected to just be the drummer, Karen tried singing and impressed everyone there with a distinctive voice. Osborne signed a recording contract with her for his label, Magic Lamp Records. He was not particularly interested in Richard's involvement. Wow, so he didn't want Richard or anything.
Only just there.
He just wanted Karen because her voice just worked.
And you know
what?
You know what was nice of her? Look, she wants their brother in the band, and she sacked the other person up. That's amazing, lad. She had so much love for
family, mate.
Yeah.
In 1967, Jacob left the trio to study at the Julie Lillard School, and the Carpenters' siblings were keen to try out other musical styles, along with other musicians, including Gary Sims and John Bettis. The siblings formed the group Spectrum, which focused on a harmonious vocal sound, and recorded many demo tapes in Osborne's garage studio, working out how to overdub voices out to a multi-track tape. Many of those tapes were rejected by record companies. The group had difficulty attracting a live following, as their sound was too dissimilar from the hard rock and psychedelic rock popular in the clubs. A&M Records finally signed the Carpenters to a recording contract in 1969. Karen started out as both the group drummer and co-lead singer, as she originally sang all of her vocals from behind the drum set. She sang most of the songs on the band's first album, offering later retitled Ticket to Ride. Her brother wrote 10 of the album's 13 songs and sang on 5 of them. Wow, he's talented, Richard, mate. The opening and concluding tracks were sung by both siblings in unison. As well as drumming, Karen played bass guitar on 2 songs, All of My Life and Eve, under Osborne's guidance. On All I Can Do, she played in 5/4 time, while You Wonderful Parade featured multiple snare and bass drum overdubs to emulate the sound of the marching band. The track Ticket to Ride, a Beatles covering song that later became the album title track, was released as the Carpenter's first single and reached number 54 on the Billboard Hot 100. Their next album, 1970's Close to You, featured 2 hit singles, They Long to Be, Close to You, and We've Only Just Begun. They peaked number 1, mate.
Wow. And we've done
And number 2, respectively, on the Hot 100s.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you. We've done Karen Carpenter's.
Karen Carpenter's.
Sorry, Karen Carpenter's. We've just begun. So we're gonna give a video of this. So it should be before this, shouldn't it? Well, we'll check it out anyway. We've done an amazing video and we've blown away.
Yeah, we'll put that up in a separate video.
Yeah.
We'll put
I know we are.
Flashback.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
So we've done that video and we was just blown away, and that was the first time we've heard them. And
Yeah,
it was just,
amazing, mate.
it was so sad to know that she's not longer with us.
Yeah. Because she was just 5 feet 4 inches, 1.63 meters tall, it was difficult for people in the audience to see Karen behind her kit. Why was the kit that big?
Wow.
After reviews complained that the group had no focal point in live shows, Richard and the manager Sherwin Bash persuaded her to stand at the microphone to sing the band's hit, while another musician played the drums. Former Disney musketeer Cubby O'Brien, Cubby it is, served as the band's other drummer for many years. She initially struggled in live performance, singing solo as she felt more secure behind the drum kit. After the release of Now and Then in 1973, the albums tended to have Carpenter singing more and drumming less, and she did become the focal point of all records and live performance. Bash said she was the one that people watch, starting with Carpenter's 1976 concert tour and continuing thereafter. She would perform a showcase in which she moved around the stage playing various configurations of drums. A studio performance benefited from close miking the capture the nuances of her voice well. Though she had 3-octave range, many of her duo hits prominently featured her lower contralto singing, leading her to quill The Money in the Basement.
Wow.
Money in the Basement.
What I was going to say, she was, you know what was a big problem? Like, obviously she was insecure about herself. Was like she didn't want to go fronting the public. She wasn't so comfortable.
She weren't confident in, like, probably like a lot of people just watching it.
Yeah.
And, like trying to perform.
Yeah, just imagine like thousand people and you're on stage with a mic and everyone's watching you. Obviously because she was doing the drums for a bit, wasn't she?
That's what I mean, like.
And she felt so comfortable there.
Lad, it's not easy, innit?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like.
Sometimes you got to get out of your comfort zone though as well, innit? And this is what happened to her. And she probably didn't like it.
That's what I mean, lad. But it's hard. People don't know how hard it is. But
we can say that now, what? It's one of them, innit?
It's one of them, lad, innit? You get me?
Yeah.
So where are we? Alright. Carpenter always considered herself a drummer who sang. She performed Ludwig drums, including the Ludwig super sensitive snare, which she favoured greatly. However, she did not drum on every Carpenter recordings. She was the only featured drummer on Ticket to Ride and on Now and Then, except for Jambalaya, According to Hal Blaine, Karen played on many of the album cuts, and he played on most of the Carpenter studio sessions when she did not play drums herself. But Karen was informed about Blaine's involvement, and she approved on the basis that she and Richard wanted hit singles. The duo were happy for Blaine to take the role in the studio, as he was a respected session musician, and it was earlier to record Carpenter's guide vocal without it spilling onto the drum mics. Blaine complimented Karen's drumming skill, but believed her greatest strength was as a vocalist, and thought himself more adept at working in a recording studio, which required a different approach from that on the stage performance. On Made in America, Karen provided precise pre-percussion on Those Good Old Dreams in tandem with Pauline Ho the Casto, and played drums on the song When It's Gone. It's Just Gone in unison with Larry Loudon. Yeah, Larry Loudon. In the mid-1970s, Richard Carpenter developed an addiction to quaaludes. The Carpenters frequently cancelled tour dates, and they stopped touring all through after their September 4th, 1978 concert at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas. In 1980, Karen performed a medley of standards in duet with Ella Fitzgerald on the Carpenter television program Music. In 1981, after release of the Made in America album, which turned out to be their last. The Carpenters returned to the stage and went on some promotional tours, including an appearance for the BBC programme Nationwide. Now was the last song Carpenter recorded in April 1982. Though Richard was concerned about her health, he still thought her voice sounded as good as ever.
Wow. So he was concerned about it, but back then, innit?
Yeah, they went through loads, lad, do you know what I mean? She went through
loads. It just
loads.
gives you goosebumps knowing that was her last time.
It is, lad. And there's a picture on the right, a promotional photograph of Carpenter from 1973. Look at the smile, mate. Isn't it beautiful? Do you know what I mean? So his solo career, Karen Carpenter's. Carpenter released their first solo record, Looking for Love, I'll Be Yours, in 1967 on Osborne's Magic Lamp label. Only 500 copies was pressed, and the label folded shortly after. Wow, that's mad, that, mate. In 1979, while Richard took a year off to treat his addiction, Karen made a solo album with producer Phil Ramone. The session produced music that was different from the usual Carpenter's material, tending more towards disco and up-tempo numbers, with more mature lyrics and taking full advantage of Karen's upper vocal register. The album met with a tepid response from Richard and A&M executives in the early 1980s, and was shelved by A&M Records. Why they shelved the lad? Co-owner Herb Alpert, in spite of attempts by producer Quincy Jones to convince him to release the solo record after a remix. A&M subsequently charged Carpenter $400,000 to cover the cost of recording her unreleased album, to be paid out of the duo's future royalties. A portion of the solo album was commercially released in 1989 when some of the tracks as remixed by Richard which included on the album Loveliness, the final album, previously unreleased material from the Carpenters in 1996. The complete solo album titled Karen Carpenter was finally released.
Wow.
But they shelved it, they charged it, and everything.
She got bashed.
Wow, that's sad. No wonder it didn't come out.
Yeah, 400,000 quid.
Yeah, no wonder it come out like years later after she passed away.
Well, it makes sense now.
That's a sad, time that you get me fighting and putting all that time into, like a project. Do you know what I mean? And that she had all complications trying to put it out with the, like labels and all that. Then they put it out when she passed away.
So sometimes it is that though. It's a record like the managers and stuff. They mess around and then now you're what is it called? You go through depression and everything, like anxiety. Yeah, but they're trying to get something and they work so hard for it.
And people are stopping it. Do like putting the body of work that you put your heart and soul into.
Many of ours.
And it's sad they released it after a few years. She passed away. At least, and the fans got, what she didn't get, what she wanted to get. Do you know what I mean? Let's go down.
Which is sad.
Do you want to read the personal life?
Personal life, alright. Carpenter had a complicated relationship with their parents. They had hope that Richard's musical career, musical talents would be recognised and that he would enter the music business, but we're not prepared for Karen's success. She continued to live with them until 1974. 1976, Carpenter bought 2 Century City apartments that she combined into one. The doorbell chimed the opening notes of We've Only Just Begun.
Wow! How amazing is that, mate?
Sick.
How amazing is that?
So when your doorbell...
So she gets an apartment of what was it? It was like...
I think
it was 2, but she combined it in one.
Yeah, I made a doorbell and said...
Well, imagine pressing the bell and it's saying here,
we've only just begun.
Hey, isn't that great, lad? Why wouldn't you though, lad?
Yeah, that was a successful single, wasn't it? So she collected Disney memorabilia. Yeah, I liked to play softball and baseball. Growing up, she had played baseball with other children on the street. She was picked before her brother for games. She studied baseball statistics carefully and became a fan of New York Yankees. In the early 1970s, she would become a pitcher on a celebrity all-star softball team. Petula Clark, Olivia Newton-John and Dionne Warwick were her close friends. Well, while she was enjoying success as a female drummer in what was primarily was like English
primarily an all-male
occupation. Carpenter was not supportive of the women's liberation movement, saying she believed a wife should cook for her husband and that when she married, this was that she planned to do. Or when she got married, she wanted to be a housewife basically and cooking that. In the early interviews, Carpenter showed no interest in marriage or dating, believing that relationship would not survive. Consistent touring, adding as long as we are on the road most of the time, I will never marry. In 1976, she had a music business made it.
She said the music business made it hard to meet people
and that she refused just to marry someone to the sake of it. Carpenter admitted Olivia Newton-John that she longed for a happy marriage and family. She later dated several notable men, including Mike Kerr, Tony Danza, Terry Ellis, Mark Harmon, Steve Martin. Is Steve Martin that guy?
Don't know.
That film actor with white hair?
Don't know.
I think it
is. There could be a lot of actors with white hair. Do you know what I mean?
Films anyway. Forgot his film's called. And Alan Osmond. After
Worldwide.
Not worldwide.
Yeah, whale. The way you say whale, not whaled, whale.
Worldwide. romance the married real estate developer Thomas James Bourse on August 31st, 1980 in the Crystal Room, Beverly Hills Hotel. Bourse divorced with an 18-year-old son. Oh, she had an 18-year-old son.
Boris.
Yeah. Was 9 years her senior. A new song performed at the ceremony because of We Are in Love. We released in 1981. The couple settled in Newport Beach. Carpenter desperately wanted children, but Boris had undergone
vasectomy.
Yeah, and refused to get and refused to get an operation to reverse it. Their marriage did not survive the disagreements and ended after 14 months. Bears was living beyond his means, borrowing up to $50,000, equivalent to $141,000 in 2019.
Wow.
At the time, from this wife to the point where reportedly she had only stocks, the bonds left. Carpenter friends also indicated he was abusive towards her. What the hell?
Wow.
Often being impatient, they stated, remained
fearful when he would occasionally lose his temper.
Karen Coleman, a close friend, recounted the incident in which she and Carpenter went to their normal hangout, Hamburger Hamlet, and Carpenter appeared to distance emotionally, sitting not at the regular table but the dark, wearing a large dark sunglasses, unable to eat and crying. According to Coleman, the marriage was the straw that broke the camel's back. It was absolutely the worst thing that could have ever happened to her. In September 1981, Carpenter revised her will and left him material home, and it contained Boyers, but left everything else. Her brother and parents, including her fortune, estimated at $5.10 million.
No, $5 to $10 million.
Sorry, $5 to $10 million. Between 14 mil and 28 million in 2019. 2 months later, following arguments after a family dinner in the restaurant, Carpenter and Beers broke up. Carpenter filed for a divorce on October 28th, 1982, while she was in Lenox Hill Hospital. Wow.
Wow, look how much the money is worth.
Wow. It just doubled, basically, didn't it?
Tripled, mate.
Wow.
Double, triple. Kidding. So, the illness and death. So, Carpenter began dieting while in high school. Under a doctor's guidance, she began the Stillman diet of water a day and avoiding fatty foods. She reduced her weight to 120 pounds, 54 kg, 8 stones, 8 pounds, and stayed approximately at that weight until around 1973, when the Carpenter's career reached its peak. The year she saw a concert photo of herself in which her outfit made her appear heavy. She hired a personal trainer who advised her to change her diet. The new diet caused her to build muscle, which made her feel heavier instead of slimmer. Carpenter fired the trainer and began her own weight loss program using exercise equipment and counting calories. She lost about 20 pounds, 9 kg, and intended to lose another 5 pounds. Her eating habits also changed around the time she would try to remove food from her plate by offering taste to others with whom she was dining. Wow, that's the way it starts happening off, to, you know, like having an eating disorder, lad, serious. By September 1975, Carpenter weighed 91 pounds, 41 kg, 6 stones, 7 pounds.
So you basically lost 2 stones?
A live performance, fans have reacted with gasps to her gaunt appearance, and many wrote to the pair to inquire that what's wrong. She refused to declare publicly that she was in ill health. On her 1981 nationwide appearance, she simply said she was pooped. Richard later stated that he and his parents did not know how to help Karen. In 1981, she told Richard that there was a problem and that she needed help with it. Carpenter spoke with Cherry Bone, who had recovered from anorexia, and contacted Bone doctor for help. She was hoping to find a quick situation to her problem, as she had performing and recording obligations, but the doctor told her treatments could take from 1 to 3 years. Whoa. She then chose to be treated in New York City by physiotherapist Stephen Levenkron. By late 1981, Carpenter was using thyroid replacement medication, which she obtained using the name of Karen Boris. It increased her metabolism. She used the medication in conjunction with increased consumption of the laxative, up to 80 to 90 tablets per night. That's crazy. Upon which she had long relied, which caused food to pass quickly through her digestive tract. Despite Levenkron treatments, including confiscation of medications that Karen had misused, her condition continued to deteriorate, and she lost more weight. Carpenter told Levenkron that she felt dizzy and that her heart was beating irregularly. Finally, in September 1982, she was admitted to Lenox Hill Hospital in New York, where she was placed in
intravenous potential nutrition.
Yeah, where they're helping with the food and the nutrition. The procedure was successful, and she gained some weight in relatively short time, but this put a strain on her heart, which was already weak for years of improper diet. She maintained a relatively stable weight for the rest of her life. Carpenter returned to California in November 1982, determined to reinvigorate her career, finalise a divorce, and began a new album with Richard. On December 17, 1982, she gave her last singing performance in the multi-purpose room of the Buckley School in Sherman Oaks, California, singing Christmas carols for her godchildren, their classmates and other friends. On January 11, 1983, she made her last public appearance at a gathering of past Grammy Award winners who were commemorating the awards show's 25th anniversary. She seemed somewhat frail and worn out, but according to Dionne Warwick was vibrant and outgoing, exclaiming, "Look at me, I've got an ass." She had also begun to write songs after returning to California, and told Warwick that she had a lot of living left to do. On February the 1st, 1983, Carpenter saw her brother for the last time and discussed new plans for the Carpenters and resuming touring. A few days later, on February the 4th, Carpenter was scheduled to sign final papers making her divorce official. Shortly after waking up on that day, she collapsed in her bedroom at her parents' home in Downey. Paramedics found her heart beating once every 10 seconds. Wow, she was pronounced dead at Downey Community Hospital at 9:51 a.m. Carpenter's funeral was held February the 8th, 1983 at the Downey United Methodist Church. Approximately 1,000 mourners attended, including her friends Dorothy Hamill, Olivia Newton, John Petrulla, Clark, and Dionne Warwick. Her estranged husband Thomas Burris also attended and tossed his wedding ring into a casket. Carpenter was buried at the Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Cypress, California. In 2003, her body was removed in order to be placed with her parents in a at the Pierce Brothers Valley Oaks Memorial Park in Westlake Village, California. An autopsy released on March 11, 1983 ruled out drug overdose. What they're saying, they ruled it out, it went on drugs overdose, attributing death to immediate cardiac toxicity due to or as consequence of anorexia nervosa. Carpenter was discovered to have had blood sugar level of 1,110
milligrams per deciliter.
More than 10 times the average.
Wow.
2 years later, the coroner told colleagues that Carpenter's heart failure was caused by repeated use of ipecac syrup and over-the-counter emetic, often used to induce vomiting in case of overdosing or poisoning. This was disputed by 11 Cron. What's his name? Lee Van Cron, who said that he had never known her to use ipecac. I don't even know. And that he had not seen evidence that she had been vomiting. Carpenter's friends were convinced that she had abused laxatives and steroids medication to maintain her low body weight, and thought this had started after their marriage began to crumble.
Wow.
Crazy, mate, isn't it?
Sly, man.
It's really sad, lad, what she's been through.
Sly.
So that's just like, do you know, like, about her story of her life, do you know what I mean, that we didn't know much of, and for the ones who's watching who didn't know much of Karen Carpenter's life, and about her personal and life and towards her death. Do you know what I mean? It's sad. There's a picture of a Walk of Fame, Hollywood Walk of Fame, but she's been through loads, mate.
It's sad as well.
Do you want to read the legacy before we finish?
Whatever.
Go on, just read the legacy before we finish.
Legacy. Carpenter's singing has attracted critical praise and influenced several significant musicians and singers, including Madonna, Sheryl Crow, Pat Metheny, Sonic Youth, Kim Gordon, Shania Twain, and Natalie that's that thing. Remember it?
Yeah,
Torn, and Katie Long. Paul McCartney, Paul, has said that she had the best female voice in the world, melodic, tuneful, and distinctive. She has been called one of the greatest voice of all time by Elton John. Her drumming has been praised by fellow musician Hal Blaine, Chubby O'Brien, Cubby, Buddy Rich, by Modern Drumming magazine. In 1975, she was voted the best rock drummer in poll of Playboy readers, beating Led Zeppelin and John Bonham. On October 12, 1983, shortly after her death, the Carpenters received a start on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. They deserve it. In 1999, VH1 ranked Carpenter at number 29 at the list of 100 greatest women in rock and roll. In 2010, Rolling Stone ranked Carpenter 94. I don't get Rolling Stone is like Vogue on the list of the 100 greatest singers of all time, calling her voice impossible, lush, and almost shockingly intimate. I think even Seppa's songs sound like she was staring directly into your eyes. Carpenter's death brought media attention. Conditions such as anorexia nervosa and condition that not been widely known beforehand. Her family stated Karen A. Carpenter Memorial Foundation was raised money research on anorexia nervosa and other eating disorder. Carpenter is known for fans' lead sister, the organist from the
This originated from a mispronunciation of the lead singer by a Japanese journalist in 1974, and she later wore a t-shirt with the nickname during live shows. Wow. We hope you all learned something new, because we did, you know what I mean? What a legacy Karen had, what a career, and you know what a struggle in life she had as well.
Yeah, it's so sad, like reading up on it. You know, like my heart goes out to all the Carpenter family.
Rest in peace, Carpenter. You know what? It's so
one more thing, I can't believe it. They moved their coffin in 2003.
Yeah, because they want to put it with their...
No, I know, but I'm shocked, like, they can do that, you know what I mean?
They can do that. Certain people might be able to, do you know what I mean? Because
she got buried in 1983.
It's crazy, mate. We hope you enjoyed this, guys, because you know what? We had a good time, like, reading and getting to know a lot about Karen that we didn't know. And sorry for, like, the mispronunciations and the reading a little bit, you know what I mean? We're new to this. We just need to get a handed this and all that, and you know what, we'll get better at it. So we hope you enjoyed. Until next time.
Tell me pretty lies, look me in the face, tell me that you love me.